are now checking out
the Win Podcast,
where the everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them. So you guys already know our connection, but in this interview, I want it to be a little different because you guys already know about her spiritually and her life, and what she does as a spiritual teacher. Mm-hmm. But you guys probably was wondering as well, like, oh, she directs as well, and that's something that I wanted to tap into. Mm-hmm. So before we started off, Guru, like, let me know and let us know, who are you?
Wow, who am I? Wow, that's a deep question. Mm-hmm. I am me, mm-hmm. and me is a lot of things. I'm a person, a human being, though I question it sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm a friend. I'm a mother, which is the most important thing in my life. And I'm a spiritual teacher.
Nice. So I'm going to dive right into it. Mm-hmm. How did you get into directing? Because you will share with us sometimes that you have helped and directed people in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Not only in Hollywood, it goes to even like your students, mm-hmm. and even other people that you have met. And you don't share, of course, who are the Hollywood people you work with that mm-hmm. call you or whatever. But my amazement is that you have that experience helping all types of levels. Mm-hmm. How did you get into directing? How did it fall into your lap?
Well, I used to watch a lot of TV, a lot. And there was things one of the things that I got so connected without knowing is how a person expressed themselves in a story, in a drama, in a comedy, and thriller. And I used to always wonder, how do you express yourself telling a story, even though you have a script? Because there's so many ways to tell a story. It's not only reading your script, it's the facials that you show, the expression that you show, when to show it and when not to. And that intrigued me as I was growing up, and I find that to be very fascinating. So that's one of the things that got me there, The other thing, spiritual-wise, because the spirits knew that I loved that, that was a part of that I really enjoyed doing, that they also offered to help. So with the things that I've learned on the earth side, as you can say, I also learned in the spiritual world. That it's very different from the world, and how the world directs and the spiritual world directs. So then I kind of compounded them together. But for me, regardless if I did, to me, I compounded together, but it is spiritual. Mm-hmm. It is.
What is the big difference that you saw immediately directing spiritually and directing worldly?
What I saw was the way that the world did it.
Yeah, but like how?
So let's say the world tells you to be a certain character mm-hmm. in this movie, right? And spiritually, we teach you that it is about the character, but it's about you. Okay? The world teaches you that you have to be a certain way, act a certain way. The spirits don't do that. They believe that if you are an actor, it doesn't matter if you're an experienced actor or not. But acting is just being who you are.
So basically the biggest thing spiritually when they direct is bring who you are into that character, not bringing the character into you per
Correct.
se. Like saying like we want you to be this and this, and I feel the character should be that. That's coming from the world. It's okay to have maybe ideas, but the big 90% is okay. While keeping that in mind, I need 90% of you to bring that out into that character.
Right.
So that was the biggest difference that you saw.
Yes, and also because the world makes it difficult, we don't make it difficult. You know what I'm saying? We don't like. People have a tendency of when you're filming, for instance, you'll film things 20 times. Okay, we don't believe in filming 20 times. We believe that between 3 takes is to be sufficient. What happens with people who tape 20 times or 30 times or cut, you know, after a while the person lose themselves.
But what do you do as a director when you feel like, has there been times where you're not, you know you can get more out of this person, but let's say you're on the 5th take, but you know you can get, do you stick to that hard 3 or what is that, or you just let it be? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, what happens is that if I see that in the first tape you didn't get it, the second tape you didn't get it, then what I do is that I'll take you aside, I'll talk to you, and I'll say certain things to you because everybody's different. Certain things to you that would bring out that person that I want to see.
Gotcha.
And many, many, many times it works by the 3rd take.
Gotcha.
It does.
Were you always into plays or movies more, or it was just a mixture of both?
It's a mixture of both. I don't have one less than the other.
Right.
It was both. You know, whatever came. And like if somebody wanted me to direct them, and like if they were going to be in a movie or something, and they wanted 1-on-1, you know, then I would give them that.
What was a movie that like stuck to you that till this day you remember it, and when you think about it, like there were so many lessons there for you? And like for me, I know Rocky was that movie. I could name down number 1. That was a movie that spoke to me in so many ways, and to this day, was there a movie or a show like that stuck to you that to this day you just love it? Yeah,
the movie was he would be riding a bicycle going up to the moon. And he had
E.T.?
E.T.
Oh, okay.
E.T.
So that was the movie that you connected to, like, you just remember to this day.
Yeah, because E.T. had so much messages that people would be stunned to say, really? But it did.
How was it working with Spielberg?
That's a good one.
And by that laugh, it said it all.
That's a good one.
But that was the movie for you. So I guess take me down, like,
So
how did it, how was it on set the first time that you had an opportunity to direct someone? Were you like nervous or it just like you're just like, oh man, now I remember watching these things and now I'm gonna fucking do it?
No, I wasn't nervous, but let me explain to you why I wasn't nervous. I wasn't nervous because by that time the world did not matter to me, and it didn't exist. So it didn't make any. It just didn't matter. I can't explain to you that feeling, but I just didn't care. I was there to do something, and that's all I cared to do. And I wanted to, and I was hoping that what I do was just good enough. Didn't have to be great, but good enough.
Gotcha. And did you feel like the job was complete when she was done, like the first time?
Yeah. I just find that people that would know what I'm there for, it's like they the ones that felt uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
You understand? They didn't know how to respond or to act towards me.
And I meant to ask you something about that. Like, how do you not let that affect you, right? Because you'll walk in, you share certain stories with us how you will walk in and there's these actors that has this name, directors that have this name, and you walk in with a regular shirt, sweats,
Yeah.
probably chewing on Reese's or whatever,
Yeah.
eating candy, and you're just quiet, and they make the question, well, who the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and what have you done? You know?
Yeah.
And you always share these great stories of your response to that, not giving a fuck.
Right.
How do you not give a fuck and like not let their shit interfere with your work that you have to do with whoever you're going to be working with?
Another good question. You know why? Because I don't feel threatened by anyone. I really don't. You know, it's like people say, well, did you go to school for this? Did you go to school for that? You know, and I say, no, I didn't. And what makes you feel that you're a professional? You know what I'm trying to say? And when people ask me that kind of question, I just kind of feel sorry for them, because people don't realize that there's a lot of amazing people out here in this world. And I always tell all my students that everyone is a genius. And I feel bad that people feel that because you don't have that degree, you didn't go to what that person went to go to school, get a degree, and you just come from nowhere. Well, what is the difference between a person that is trained to be an actor than a person that's born natural to be an actor? Mm-hmm. Do you tell that person, do you have a degree compared to the person that is learning how to be an actor? Does it make a difference? Isn't it? Doesn't we go by the value of let me see what you do know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Show me what you got. And I think that the world is so stuck up on these big words and these degrees. You know what I'm saying? And I find that to be such a waste of time. I really do.
And in your experience, right? Once you have shared that with that person, basically shut them down, like, you know, let me do what I have to do. Do you see that once they finally allow to see the work you can do, it's a total different story how they feel about you now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because, you know, in the beginning they're very sarcastic, they're very rude, they're very nasty. And then once they see the way that I do things, then let's say, I'm just giving a point, let's say out of 10, maybe 4 might be the ones that come up to me and say, I find that to be interesting. Can you share? Of course I share. But there's rest that won't never admit or come up to me and say, oh, Ma, this is great. No. Because people have pride and ego. You understand? Instead of, if you can teach me something, I want to learn. You know, so I don't have pride and ego. I don't feel threatened with anything that you can teach me, because I feel that what you're going to teach me is going to better me. But in this world, we don't see it like that. We see it as a threat. We see it as, you know, this person is going to take my place or whatever. And I can understand that. But before you judge, get to know that person first. You know,
do you ever change your directing style according to the actor style and also the director style, or maybe the genre of the movie? Like maybe it's a comedy, drama, thriller, whatever it is. Or, you know, do you ever change your directing in a sense to maybe coach that person because they have different styles or maybe a different genre? Or is pretty much a solid handful of tools that you go into, no matter what it is, just this universal tool that you go into to direct actors and different genres?
Well, the thing is that we have to know that every human being is different, and every actor is different. So every actor has something to offer. And what I do is that I tune into what they can offer. And whatever they can offer in that part, then I'm going to use it. And I'm going to abuse it. You understand? Have I found people that don't have that? Yes. But I see that they have potential? Yes. But I will work with them differently than I would do with the person that I can see that has. You know what I'm saying? Like, can anybody be an actor, an actress? Honestly, yes. You know, you have people there that in real life they're over dramatic. They're not actors, but they're over dramatic. You got people that really face illness, but it's not illness. It's just their way of seeing things. So everybody has a potential of a little bit of everything in themselves.
When does it become a challenge for you to to direct actors, and what I mean by that, because I have seen you done amazing work with people that have experience, don't have experience, medium experience. It's just like it doesn't matter. No matter what expertise, you manage to pull something out of them even more and see them in a different light. So I guess my question is it more challenging to direct someone with no experience, or is it challenging to try to direct someone that have all this experience and they may not want to maybe go to the next level? That I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because I would think, because I learned from you directing and I stay quiet and I watch, I would think, shit, this person don't know anything about maybe acting. So in my brain was like, there's probably a longer journey that I have to do to maybe direct this person rather than someone coming in already with seeds already planted, you know? So what are your challenges that you see, or is this really not that many challenges between a novice or a person that knows a lot and someone who doesn't know a lot?
I don't find it to be a challenge, but let me explain why.
Right. Take us down.
The reason that I don't find it to be a challenge, because again, every human being is different, and what I do with every human being, I really can see. I can see things that maybe other people can't see. So whether that person doesn't have, is that a challenge for me? No. And a person that does have, is that a challenge for me? No. Because the beauty of being who you are is knowing that you're a teacher. And as a teacher, it is your job to teach and to help them to learn. That's my job, whether it's directing or being a spiritual teacher. You know, the thing is that I'm going to take out what is there, even though you have no idea that that's what you have in there. So I'm really in tune with each individual, whether you got it or you don't. So I don't feel like it's a lot. They might feel, though, it's a lot. Okay? But no, I don't. I don't know how to explain how I can connect. I can just sense it. I can feel it. I can see it. And I go by that.
How do you deal with the reality of your expectations? For instance, right? Let's say you have an actor. You want to push him to 9. You know you could get him to a level 9 for what you want in the scene. You did 3 takes. And you gave him every direction. You followed the steps that you needed to do to get him there, but he gave you a 7. How do you deal with that as a director, knowing that
he can go to 9?
You could go to 9, and now you, as a director, have to settle for 7, and he settles for 7.
But I wouldn't settle.
You wouldn't. You'll keep going for that 9.
Yeah, I want to keep till you bring that 9, because to me, 7 is unacceptable. And if I settle for 7, it's the same thing as life in a relationship. You know, you're going to settle because you don't feel you can find somebody worthy of you. So you settle. And if I let you settle for 7, then that's what you're going to believe that you are.
How do you deal with, how do you also deal with, like, keeping the expectations of each person realistic? So let's say you have someone that has no experience, but you want them to be just as good as their next scene partner, and they've been in everything. But have you ever been in situations like, I don't know if he's going to be just as great as this person has been doing it for like all his life, and this person hasn't done it at all? How do you keep that? I guess because you see more, but how do you? For me, I'm using my human eyes. If I was in a situation, I would say, "Fuck, how am I gonna be realistic?" It's like, can I get this person to like him, even though he's at 10 or whatever, and this person doesn't have nothing, but I know I can get that person to 10. But am I pushing too much? How do you be realistic with that? Where it's like Denzel, and then, we just find this homeless person, but he's good, you know? But I know you guys can do this scene together. How do you be realistic with your expectation in that?
It's another very good question. The thing is that I want the guy that I'm learning how to be a 10. But I don't want him to be a 10 like the other guy.
You want him to be his 10.
His 10. His 10. And the reason why is because what he has to offer has nothing to do with this guy's 10. Just like what this guy has to offer has nothing to do with his 10. And this is what I'm saying, that every human being is different. And when you try to compare people by saying, look, you can do it like him, or you can be where he's at, I feel that that's a big mistake. Not because the person can't reach there, but the person should not reach there because that person is there. You should reach there for your own purpose, for your own reasons. You're not in competition. This is not a competition. But the world does that. The world puts you to have competition with each other. And me, as being spiritual, we don't teach that. We teach you to be your 10, and this guy his 10, and this woman her 10. Because all of you have so much to offer in so many different directions, in so many different ways. Why would you want to be that guy's 10? That doesn't make sense.
No,
to me.
No, it does make sense. And it's great because it's like a life lesson, also an acting lesson, where don't compare yourself to others in life, and don't compare yourself as an actor to other people.
Ever.
There are different levels, absolutely, but that's not worry about your level. And don't start comparing yourself, because that's when the fears, the insecurities, the doubt, and that's also going to affect your performance in the scene. And also that same shit is going to affect your life.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. When you try to be something that you're not, but you want to be your next door neighbor because they have a car, they have 3 cars, and they have a big house, that doesn't mean that that's for you. You understand? Yes, our people envy sometimes, but I think that you should be envy in a positive way, not in a negative way. Listen, you don't know what that person is going through to keep that. Why the hell would you I want his life? I don't want nobody's life. My life, I find that is enough. You know what I'm saying? That I have to deal with my life. Why would I want anybody's life? Hell no. Hell no.
What do you look for when you make a decision that you want to direct? Is it the story? Is it the actors? Is it the venue? Is it what calls you in that moment to be like, I'll take on that?
The script.
The script.
Like I tell my students, if you're going to write something that is unique. Don't come and give me something that reflects on the world and what they wrote. Like don't give me part 2 of Cinderella.
Gotcha.
You understand? Give me something that is different. That. Plus, it has to have a purpose. I don't like to do things that it doesn't have a purpose. Because I think that in this time of age in our lives, people need to have purpose in what they see. Whatever it may see. Crime, drama, comedy. But it has to have a purpose. And the story has to fulfill that. The person that wrote the script.
What do you look at first what's the first thing you look at, like when you are, I guess, when you have the cast in front of you? What is the first thing you look for in that person? Take us down in your mind. You got the characters, and I always see you're always looking, and you're always looking deep inside of them already.
Right.
And I've seen the process, but I never ask, what's going on in your mind when you're looking at the cast?
When I look at these individuals, I look to feel who can play what part. Who's going to really convince me that the part they're playing, they're going to bring it to life. Because one of the things of being an actor and an actress is you're there to convince me. You have to convince me that story you're playing, it's like it's really happening. So what I do is that I look at the actors and actresses and to see who can play who what. And I know, so let's say for instance, you write a script and you say you want to be the main actor because that's your script. And I look at you and I'll read the script and I'll look at you and I'll say to you, you cannot be the main actor. And you're going to say, what? Why? I say, because you don't have right now what it takes to be the main actor. I do not allow any of my students, because they write the script, to be, if they're not good in that part, they're not going to play the main actor. I'm not going to do that.
You're honest.
I'm going to put someone that can play the part. Now, does it mean that person is better than me? No, it means that part is not for you, but you will play a part that you can convince me that you're that person. And that's what counts. And I think people just put people on this play or on their movie because they feel that that's their friend, or they feel that they can do it, not that they can't, but they, you know what I'm trying to say? So everybody does things for the wrong reason. And then the movie flops, the story flops, because you're being too considerate. My way of looking at it, if you bring me, because this script is your baby, and you bring me your script, and you say, I want to play the main part, and I say to you, no, and I'm going to take care of your baby. I'm going to make sure that your baby is well taken care of, that it's going to look the best. But if you feel by saying to me, well, if you're not going to let me play the part, I'm not going to do it, you have that choice. Yeah. But I know that when you take it to somewhere else and somebody says, yeah, I'll direct it for you, right, they're going to do it. And you're going to realize when you're seeing it on your own that it was right. I don't allow my students to look foolish in anything. I want everybody that I work with to look their best. To me, it's not whether you play the main character or you play the third fiddle. To me, is making this script, this story come to life. And I want people who can do that to give it to themselves. Because I don't worry about the audience. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that, you know, I do that. And there's sometimes I'll say, no, you can be the main part because you can do it. But not everything is meant for everyone.
I think the biggest thing out of that is just, the biggest takeaway is being honest with yourself and also trusting that the person that you gave the job to direct with has your best interest. And unfortunately, the sad thing is that you have to wait to the end to see that with your own eyes, which is the unknown, which is scary, right, you know, because here you are coming to someone and they're telling you certain things, whether they have experience or not. It could be Spielberg, and you know, you could still, you know what I'm saying, you worked with him, but but it could be like, it's like, well, I hear what you're saying, but it's still hard for me to trust that and to be honest. But that's when you know, that's when a great director kicks in, right? And you have to be honest with yourself. Like, for instance, I know one day I'm going to become a director. But all this is learning to be a director. That's right. So I can't say, well, my first feature film or whatever, I'm just going to direct. No. I need the experience first. Right. So I will have you as a director and like, hey, you mind if I be the assistant, you know, and learn from this? Absolutely. And then when I build up to it, I'm like, you know what? I would like to direct my second feature, but I still want you as the director, as the right-hand man. Because, like, you need that person, like in boxing, you need that person on the outside, your coach, to watch the moves and stuff like that. You can't wear too many hats all at once. I learned that. You will flop. One thing will end up falling. But it's like a key thing, being honest with yourself and trusting. I think that's something, not to make it long, but I think that's something that a lot of artists struggle with, being honest with themselves. Yes. And the process of like, I can't play this, or I can do this, I can do that. You gotta be, or is this good? To the artist, they're always saying everything is good. I was saying the other day with my wife, I was like, the worst word that I'm tired of hearing, you was amazing. Yeah. To me, I hate that. To me, is like the most overrated, overused word. Amazing, because everything is amazing. They hear the rap now on the music. They hear the rap music on the radio. And they're, oh, that's amazing. Yeah. No, that's not amazing. I heard amazing stuff. So I'm not taking that away if someone felt that I was amazing on stage. But I will question what was amazing about my performance. Yes. Because at some point, maybe I have to feel amazing, and that I feel like I gave. And I think that's like the most, we use that as a clutch. So therefore, in society, we use that word all the time. And the artists use that word so much time that by saying that all the time, you limit yourself to actually be amazing.
Yes.
Because you're like, well, since I'm always amazing, like
I don't have to work.
I don't have to work.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's something that I always loved about myself, and I will always go to you as I have an idea to, like, after I do a show.
Right.
Actually, you implemented that in me, like, let's go eat, blah blah blah, recap or whatever, and have a good time. In my head, and you'll see me, I'm quiet. Yeah. It's because I don't want to be there. I'm recapping the whole show in my head because I'm like, man, there was a part I could have did better. I could, oh man, I like that part. Like, I'm doing I want to go home now and go to the computer and like really tweak those things. But that just came from me. You know, that wasn't just someone telling me you was amazing and I said you don't have to do it. And just to recap what you said, I think you have to be very honest with yourself and question what are people saying about you? Is that really true in that process? Like, I'll go to you, you know, because once again, right at the right hand man in the corner. Mm-hmm. I shared this other story where I was talking to another director and a playwright, and I shared the story. I remember we was doing The Naked Truth, and I think it was maybe the third show. It was a great show, but I missed a part, and I was down on myself. And you kept on saying it's because you rushed. And I was like, oh, and I kept saying, I don't feel like I rushed. Blah blah blah. I felt good though. I was up there. Blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, but you rushed. That's why you forgot that. I said, but I don't feel like it. And then I really had to just shut the fuck up. And I went home. I recapped. And I saw everything, and then I saw it on the screen. Oh yeah, I rushed. I did rush. That's why I forgot that part. And I said, hey, you was right. I rushed. And you have to trust that person because you there. If I allow myself to know that I rushed, then I'm not there in the story, and that's a dangerous place to be. And that's when you will. That's your job to be like, no, you did great, but you forgot this because you rushed there. Right. I want you to keep that pace going. So yeah, I think it goes to be honest with yourself and have that person, whoever you are working with, make sure they have the best interest in you and they feeding you truth, not sugar-coated surface. But
a lot of people are very afraid to be honest, especially in the Hollywood industry. They'll push you. They don't care. You understand? And who wants to hear honesty? Mm-hmm. Nobody does. Right. Okay? And if you dare be honest with someone, you're going to get fired. So you're looking for someone to kiss your ass. And when you find that, then you're not learning and growing. You're standing still. You know, I'm not here to please anyone. I'm not. Have I been in a situation where people have said to me, like, damn, you know, that was strong, that was cold, or I said, and? So what do you want me to do? Do what you do? You get paid for lying. You know, I don't have time for that. Because when you lie and you try to fuck somebody over, it comes back. And then what I'm saying it doesn't mean that I come back to you, but it comes back because you're going to see the truth. You understand? See, let me give you a little example. I used to steal money from my mother, okay? And every time my mother said that I steal money, I would say to her, yes, I did, knowing that I was going to get my ass whipped. But you see, I prefer getting my ass whipped for telling the truth than getting my ass whipped for lying. Because to me, that's a waste. So if you're not going to like me and you're going to dislike me and the things that I say to you, I can accept it. Because you're angry at me because I told you the truth. But if you're going to get angry at me because I lied to you, then who am I fucking fooling? I'm not fooling anybody. I'm fooling myself. And then in time, people are going to see that this person, all they do is lie. I don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell people the way it is. As a teacher, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to feel sorry for you or to feel that I have to say this to make you feel... I don't got no time for it. Reality is reality. Can you face reality? No. Can a lot of people accept reality? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? I live in cold reality. I see things for what they are. Do I get help by the spirits to see it even more? Yes. So I'm going to tell you what it's there. By me or by the spirits, we're going to tell you how it is. How you choose to take it, it's up to you. If you're not ready for the truth, then you're not ready for the life out there. Because we allow pride and ego to get in the way of truth and honest. You know what I'm trying to say? We're so egotistic human beings that we feel that we have to be fed all the time. Oh, you're great. Oh, you're fantastic. No one has to tell me I'm good in what I do. The only person that has to tell me I'm good in what I do is the person that I see every day in that mirror, and that's me. Because I worked very hard to become the spiritual teacher that I am. I became very hard to be the person that I am today. Okay? So, for anybody to say to me, you did great, it's not that I'm being inconsiderate. I appreciate it.
Right.
I do. And I bow to it because you don't have to tell me that. But I have to know it first. No different than I know when I mess up, don't come and tell me I didn't mess up. I know I messed up. You understand what I'm saying? And I live in reality. I love the truth. I really do. What hurts me more, like I tell my children, the truth doesn't hurt me. The lie does. Okay? I face reality every day of my lives. So you people can't come and tell me anything unless you're going to come and lie to me. Unacceptable. So when I work with people, I will let them know. Do they have to believe me? Do they have to take the word that I say? Absolutely not. Because like I tell my students, do not believe anything I say. Believe in what you see, because that will be your truth. My truth cannot be your truth. Because I am me and you're you. But you're going to find your truth if you allow yourself to want to learn and grow.
It's so funny because the perfect example that explains you as a human person and also as a spiritual teacher and also director was when I wasn't there, but they shared with me when you were doing the Unknown play, and one of the actors, they was all going in their monologues, and this particular actor went up and everyone like clapped, and he was like, what the fuck are you guys clapping at? And it was like, cause he just did. It's like, you thought that was good? It's not fucking good. No one fucking claps for nobody until they earn it. And I was like, holy shit. And it was just something about that. I was like, well, I remember I was like, man, if I ever do a show, that's what I want as a director. I was like, because she's not going to lie to me. What I brought was trash. She's not going to clap, and she doesn't want nobody else to clap.
No.
And she wants you to realize that shit was garbage, what he just did. And there was another time when I'm on stage, like before I was going on stage, I did something stupid, and I knew in this part it was a spirit that took over, and you just said, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, "Well, I thought I'll just jump into this thing." You what? The fuck was that? Do it over. I was like, "All right, cool," and that leads into my question, and it's not a giveaway because it's been on the Daily News. There was an article about that. Yeah. That you channel in different spirits of directors that come down. Not because you're calling them. No, and they come in and they say, "Hey, man, I would love an opportunity to maybe give a couple lines or whatever," and you hear them. And it could be any past spirit director or whatever, and you're there hearing them. Yeah. How do you juggle that? Where it's like Guru the director, and then a couple spirits that's also like channel in, like, hey, you should also tell them this, and I have experience, but don't tell them who I am. But how do you channel all that when directing?
It's very easily because they say, okay, can you tell this fool? I mean, they don't curse, but they do say, like, can you tell this fool not, what is he doing, or what is she doing? And then they'll tell me certain things for you to do, and then I'll tell you. So
it's not like you call them. It just so happens that, I don't know, you're directing something and
it just happens that they just comes.
They just come and want to be a part of it somehow.
Yeah, and they check it out. They check it out. And they check it out and they say, okay, this is what is this? And so yes, they do. They do help me a great deal. They do.
So really it's also a mixture. So I guess I'm going to confirm it now. It's a mixture of you and also the spirits that come down. Yes. So happens to now collaborate and work.
Yes, together. as
together.
one.
How did
As
you
one.
gain that trust in them? Now, mind you, right? I'm in now the shoe. You're in like the actor's shoe now, almost, right?
Uh-huh.
Like what I'm trying to say is, let's say I'm that person that like you're now directing my show. I gotta gain trust with you. I gotta gain all this stuff with you. What makes me now gonna allow myself to trust you? How do you learn to trust these director spirits before they even tell you, hey, I'm XYZ, I passed away long ago, but you probably know my movies. But before they even say that, they probably don't even say that. How do you just like, all right, let me hear what you got? I kind of like that. How do you gain trust in them automatically to be like, was that automatic or it built up?
No, it didn't build up. It didn't. What happened was when I started to hear those voices, there's a peace in me that I feel. You know, because you do have negative voices and you got, you know, and you can tell the difference, you know what I'm saying? But I've been so blessed with good voices. I really have. And so when I hear it and I feel the peacefulness in me, that's trust.
And you gotcha. And you never felt, I guess, threatened by that note that they're giving, as in like, hey, motherfucker, this is my direction.
No.
You know, it's like
No.
you was like, oh, you just take it on. There's
Whatever you say, yeah. It's no different when a person comes to my house and I read them and the spirits help me and say, okay, da. No, I don't.
Right, because what I'm getting at is because I would probably feel some type of way, human side, if I'm directing something and then like Spielberg and all these other motherfuckers come and I'm like, I'm glad you guys got great information, but at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, this is my fucking film.
But then,
right. So how did you?
Because there's no pride and ego. I don't know what it is. And,
right.
You know, I've told people that, and I was raised more by the spirits than I was raised by my mother, but I don't have pride and ego. You understand? I'm not afraid to learn from anybody. I'm really, really not. If you can teach me something, I want to learn. You understand? So I'm not afraid to learn. I'm not afraid to grow. And I'm not afraid to hear what you have to say. Because, you know, when we work together, I always said to you, you know, we're working together. You know, so that means you have ideas or whatever, shoot it. You know, and if your idea is good, let's use it. And how many times have I said, if it's not, we're not going to use it.
Right.
So, you know, we work as a unit. It's not all me. Because then that'd be selfish. So when I work with people, it's not all me. It's we work together. Because you might have a better idea that I didn't even think about, or that I didn't even imagine. And how many times have I said to you, all right, let's do it. I like that. Do you understand?
No, absolutely.
So I'm very open, regardless.
And I think that's a key thing. That's what I wanted to get to. I think that's a key thing as a director. Another powerful tool is surrounding yourself with people that you trust and allowing yourself to be open to hear the suggestions.
Yeah.
You could take it or not take it, but you know, knowing that you're a unit and this is for the better of the film. You know, don't let ego and pride get in the way of the status of the film where it can go and reach.
No, because you can come out with an amazing thing, and why would I want to shut that down? Because I'm the director?
Right.
No, that's not the way.
You see that happen a lot in
I
our world.
see it. I see it. I've seen it so many times. How I would see something and I see, man, that's a great idea, and the person would turn around and say no because that person wants it their way, and I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? I feel that if I give you 75 and you give me the other 25, I think it's fucking awesome.
Right.
You understand? To me, it doesn't measure who knows more than the other. I don't go into that. I think, and I said again, you know, we are all geniuses, and I think that we all need to share our ideas and our opinion. I don't get offended when you come with or anybody that I work with comes with an idea. If it's good, I'm going to use it. If it doesn't make sense, I'm going to tell you. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to knock everything you say. You understand?
Yeah.
Because out of 4 things I might knock out, the 5th thing you might say, let's go do it then. And I think that people are, like, again, too self-centered, too pride and ego. It's about me. And I want the world to notice me. And you know me as that's not my thing. Right. My thing is I want people to notice the people that I work with. If I'm working with you as an actor or as an actress or whatever, I want people to notice you. I'm not important. I don't consider myself to be important, and not that I consider to be less.
Right.
It's just that your job, that is your job, to be an actor, to be a comedian. My job is to make you look great. That's my job. My job is not for somebody to say, "Oh man, you did good by him," or "You did great by him." Just by people telling you you were great, you were awesome, that enough says everything to me. Nobody has to come to me.
Right.
It's not important. And I know it's hard for people to believe that, but that's how I am. You know that. I've never gone out there and look at me, I'm over here.
Right.
That's never been my thing.
Well, you always leave it as the work speaks for itself.
Exactly.
If they listen to the whole direction of whatever, and the work speaks for itself.
Right.
You know what you can do, what you could bring out of people.
Right.
Is there a difference directing a movie and directing a play?
Yes.
Are there two different things?
No, they're different.
They're different.
Yeah, they're different.
I know it's probably a long process, but what would you say is the difference, more or less? Like maybe a couple things that you will say. What is the biggest difference that pops in your head between directing a movie and directing a play?
Because when you direct a movie and you make a mistake right there, you have a chance to correct it. In a play, you don't. In a play, you have to go on.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you miss a line or you got to keep going on, and you have to, what's that word that people use? Improvise. When you film a movie, if you make a mistake, you can say, okay, stop, say the line again. So, you know what I'm saying? Another thing that makes it different also is the scenery. A movie is you're moving from place to place. In a play, you stay still and the scenery is there. You know what I'm saying? So I find that, and I also find that the acting is totally different than a play and a movie. It's very, very totally different.
From what I saw and sometimes maybe experienced, you don't have to be so, I guess, loud and out there on camera.
Right, but on stage you do.
On stage you do.
Yeah.
And and from what I learned from you, I guess on screen, less is more.
Yes.
And you have to really engage in those things to know that you don't have to be really out there to show that the camera's going to catch all that.
Right.
No, that's very, very interesting.
And in stage, people have to speak loud. But there are people that don't speak loud, they yell loud. It's a big difference too. When you speak loud and make it louder, you know what I'm trying to say? It takes away from the acting in the theater too. Because then you're overdoing it.
I want to ask you a question about me. How do you remain calm when you know that I either missed a line or I missed a part? How do you remain calm and chill? Because I know you always say, I don't worry about you. But for me, if I'm on the other end, right, and I'm seeing that, I'm probably sending out prayers like, oh, get back on track. don't stay with. It's like watching the fight. It's like, ooh, they got him good enough. Come on, baby, stay with me now. Keep going. I know I will feel that as a director, but sometimes I know I have this out of body experience, and I'm like, where am I? Still going. It's like my mind automatically splits in three. I'm focusing on like where I'm at in the story. My brain is searching. And I'm looking at you, but you're not looking at me. And I'm like, don't feed into her because she's not don't try to say that she's nervous for you because she's not, whatever. But she's probably praying. But so, how do you remain calm? Like when you see that in me or whatever.
Well, because number one, I trust you, and I know I trust you enough to know that you're going to handle it and you're going to find a solution. And I also know you're not perfect, And though if people perform in stage, mistakes will happen. You understand it's going to happen, but I believe in you because you know how to come out of it. And the reason that I might not look at you when you're doing a mistake is because if I were to look at you, I'm doubting you. So if I move away from you, I want you to know that I'm trusting you to do what you know you need to do.
Right.
And you do.
And
you always come out right.
You always, one thing I mean, it's really like, when I look at acting now and like being on stage, to me, it just reminds so much of like boxing. Like, cause you have to play chess, you have to know the moves.
But it's exciting,
and you got the excitement, and anything can happen. And you have to prepare for everything. And literally, I swear, I always say, like, you know, I'm reading a book now about Mike Tyson and his coach, Costamato, which is this white guy that looks just like you. And he's teaching him, building his confidence up, teaching him all these things aside of boxing, not even about fighting, about building the inside. Because what you do in the inside, when you bring it on stage, it's going to explode even more.
Absolutely.
So you always would train me on that. You're doing great. You're doing great. You always would compare, like, you know, you think people on Broadway don't fuck up? They fuck up all the time. I see it. Yeah. And they go and they keep going and keep going. And you always say, you'll pick it back. It'll come back to you. Just keep talking. Just keep talking. It was like, you always reassure that confidence. It's like, you've been great. You know how to do improv, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I think that's something key, like, as, you know, for a director to, you know, continue molding that confidence with the actor, knowing that, like you said, you are worth something, you are amazing, you are a genius. And then they'll realize that. The more you keep saying that to them, they're going to realize that.
Right, because all I'm doing is taking what you already got. I'm not giving you anything when you look at it, really. I'm using what you got. And this is what you got, so I'm going to use it.
What has directing brought to your life? Are there lessons that you learned about yourself? What has taken this path, this journey of directing, what has it brought to you?
Have I learned? Yes, I learned every day, and when I direct certain things, yes, I learn new things all the time, and not only being a director, but I learn from the people that I'm directing. You know, I mean, there's lessons every day in anything that I do. Because again, I love to grow and learn. I really do. You know what I'm saying? So when I do these things, it just makes me feel like a little kid, that I'm learning something new. No matter how much I know, I'm still that little child inside learning new things. And
also that little child watching her favorite TV shows and movies.
Yes.
You know, you was always connecting to it, and you, like you said, the spirits gave you that to teach you more things and bring you joy, even though it may come with a lot of responsibility and work, but there's a joy that you see of like, oh man, just directing other people and bringing it to life.
Yeah, and you know, I think my biggest reward, my biggest reward is seeing you guys doing what you love to do and doing it good, doing it great, and believing enough in yourself to believe in me to help you. Because nothing happens if it's not for you. I would not be able to direct your play if it wasn't for you. You understand? So you believed enough in you, and you believed, because the trust and the belief has to start with you first, not with me. No matter what you think I'm capable of doing, if you don't trust and you don't believe in yourself, then there's no way that you can believe in me. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? And you allowed yourself to believe in yourself and believe in me, not only because you're my student, but because not only was the words that I say to you, but the things that you allowed yourself to see. And because you allowed to see certain things when it comes to me, you believed enough to say, hey man, I believe enough that I want this person. Do you understand? Right. Because everything comes from someone. It starts from someone. It didn't start from me. It didn't. I didn't write the script. You know, you wrote the script. You wanted to perform. You started this. You understand? So you trusted me enough to say, you know, or to feel that if this is, you know, if I want this to be good, I trust her enough, because I trust myself enough to know that I know she can do it for me. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Because trust has to come from somewhere. It has to earn.
What advice would you give to directors and actors? I know you have shared so much, but what is something you want to let them know? It could be something so small that you see in a lot of other directors and actors, that they're not doing, and is a constant challenge that you see in a lot of them. What advice would you tell them?
First of all, I would tell them, don't let their pride and ego get in the way, their selfishness, their greed to get in the way. I also would tell them that if you're facing a problem, do not take it on the actors. You know what I'm saying? Because people do that. Don't lower their standards as human beings and actors. Don't think that you know it all and they don't know anything. Treat people with respect and be humble, be caring, and be compassionate. And yes, be aggressive. But the most important thing is be honest with yourself first. And I feel that if a person can follow that person would be a good, not only would, it's not about directing, to be honest with you, but it's about being a good human being.
And that I agree all the way with that one. And there's this one beautiful note that I got from an improv teacher and it leads to meeting you and everyone. And I always tell this story. And I remember I had an improv teacher. He has a group of us, and he's like, I can teach you guys all the tools to use. I can teach you how to be funny. I can teach you these lines. I can teach you the segments and all this stuff. But you know what? The biggest advice I would tell you is to quit this class and go live life. Because life is going to teach you so much.
I agree.
And when you come back with all this baggage, I want you to get hurt. I want you to get your heart broken. I want you to laugh. I want you to feel joy. And then when the moment you come back from life and it has fucked you up, you're gonna bring so much to that stage. You're gonna be enriched so much, and then you're gonna be able to tap on those things and be funny, be dramatic, whatever. But I want you to live life. But since you pay for the class, I can't, and I need to make money. We're gonna start the class. But he was like, "That's my biggest advice."
But he couldn't be more honest.
And no one understood it. I'm just 20-something-year-old, wow, yo,
that's
you're
deep.
right. I'm like, I caught it.
Yeah.
I was like, you're so right. And then along the ways, I met you and everyone else, and I'm like, I started fulfilling all these things in a living life, and I brought to those things on stage. But he was so right.
He's so right.
It goes hand in hand with what you're saying. Believe in yourself. Respect others. And continue your journey and your path. It all ties into being who and what you are.
Exactly. And don't try to be more than what you are.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So Guru, we got to know you as a director, and a little bit too as a spiritual teacher, and what you do as a director and how it all ties in, and also the human side of you. Now we're gonna go into the first segment of the interview. We're running a little long, but because it's been great, I don't care. So now the first segment of this interview is called "Let's Look Inside."
Okay.
And the first question for "Let's Look Inside" is there a meaning to life? If so, what is it to you?
Well, if I take off my clothes and look at myself naked, I will really see the meaning to life. But we won't do that because that will scare the hell out of everyone. But what I find the meaning to life is follow your journey, follow your purpose, and be what you're meant to be. I think that's the best gift that you can give yourself. Just be who you are meant to be. Don't allow society or people to tell you that you can't do. Don't do that.
Nice. The second question is, if you can teach one concept to everyone, what concept will have the biggest positive impact on humanity? The biggest example that I use as a concept is, I want to teach everyone in this world to love themselves. If they love themselves, that's going to change everything in humanity in a positive way. So what will be that one thing that you want to teach everyone in this world that will have a positive impact?
That you are capable of everything and anything in a very positive way.
Nice. Now, segment number 2, you might know this person. It's called Words from My Spiritual Teacher, Guru Enlightment. I don't know if you know her.
No, I don't.
But you're gonna get to know her now. Everyone knows she's my spiritual teacher. She has helped me a lot with my life, spiritual mother, and you guys have heard on from season 1 all the way to now. And you should have reached out to her, read her book, harassed her. You should have done all those things already. And so in this segment, I read certain passages from her book or from her website, and then we talk about it. So I got this quote from her website. I didn't plan it, as I never plan these things that I talk about. And the passage goes, I'm reading it now, and it ties up this whole episode. It goes, I don't want my students to be good. I want them to be great. How do you feel hearing that?
Hey, I mean, you're one of my students that have succeeded to be great. I mean, you're a prime example of that leadership that you've done. You've done great. Now, you've done your plays, and look what you're doing now. Doing these statements, doing these things with people. And I know that your third show is going to be around the corner. I mean, how can I not be proud and happy, for you, because you are you are really fulfilling your journey, And people think that to fulfill your journey, to be successful, is that the whole world has to know, but the whole world doesn't have to know. Even if it's just a few people that know, you're successful. You're successful because you made it happen. And that's what success is all about, that you made it happen. You didn't sit there and say, man, if I can go to Hollywood, if I can do this, if I can do that, if I can have people who support me, give me money financially. You didn't do that. You did it. You made it. So to me, you are as famous as anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? Because you took control of your life and you said, this is what makes me happy. This is the things that I want to do that makes me happy. And you did that. Getting married, having a child, making a home. These are things that make you happy and content. Because that's your world, that's your journey. If we wait for that world out there, we're never going to achieve. So because you didn't allow to wait for that world, you have become successful. You are a star. And no one has to accept it. No one has to see it. But as long as you can sit down, and when you have on your own and you said, I did this, that, and know that you did it, you made it happen, remember that you succeeded. Not only did you succeed, but you're successful. And knowing that this is not the end. There's more to win than meets the eye. And that's what I work as a teacher to bring you that and all my students. And when you guys do these things, then I don't need anyone to know. As long as you know and I know, then I know that as a teacher in this aspect, I did the right thing. And that's all that matters. And if we were to leave this earth tomorrow, you have left enough for people to always remember you, because you left your own legacy. And you didn't wait for the world to give you that legacy. You took it on your own. Just like I tell my children, the things that I do, that's my legacy for them, for my grandchildren, great-grandchildren. You understand? It's not important to be famous, but if I'm famous with my family and close people that love me, I'm not only successful, but I'm rich in so many ways spiritual. What more can I ask for? We couldn't ask for anything more, right?
No, you're right.
Because we'd be greedy.
Thank you so much for sharing, and that was so beautiful. Because one thing that, that at times I, just being honest, to struggle with, and it starts when you're young and you get older, is your version of what is success, and it sometimes it constantly changes. When you enter this world, you want the fame, you want the whatever, and then you start, right now I'm at a phase where I'm 31 and I'm still young, but I know that the age is getting older, and I know I'm gonna be 40 and I'm gonna be 50, and now with my friends, I reached a level where in the 20s it was, oh, well, you're an actor, a comedian, oh, that's so cool. I'm 31. They're like, you still doing that? That you still acting? All right. Now it's like, I'm just like, it's a hobby. And I'm like, no. I'm like, this is what I love. And I'm not going to give that up. And I guess my version of success started changing. Right. Not where I was just doubting myself. I was like, man, I would love to be on Radio City one day. I would love to have more, but you hit it on the note, but what if I die tomorrow? Is it with what I done not enough? Remember, why did you decide to write these things? Yeah. It was for you and to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, you are successful.
That's right.
And you made that happen. It started with one show. That's then you say, I want to do another show. And you made that happen. Yeah. Same thing as the podcast. So it's let's not forget the little steps that we took and the accomplishments that we did.
That's right.
Because we tend to put so much pressure on the bigger successful picture.
Right.
Want more followers, want this. And at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
At the end of the day, where I'm at, I would like to eventually leave my job and do what I love as my career.
Correct.
And that career, with the income that I'm making, because I'm not, greedy. Just whatever I make now in my job is what I want to make as an actor, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
And I want that to help my family,
right,
and me.
Right.
So it's like my version of success is not. I don't need to be in Hollywood.
Right.
But give me
something that I can support and take care of.
Yes. And that entails me performing 5 nights a week. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Right. That's my success.
Yeah,
and I think the moment I reached that, then it was a realization for me. Then, if more comes, it's not that I'm putting pressure on it. I know. It's coming because it's coming now, because in divine time.
In divine.
Because you're doing all this not to reach that, but with the intent is coming. You're doing it from a good place.
Exactly.
So it's not like I don't feel like I'm rushing or doing a race.
Right.
I'm confident it will happen in a certain extent, just not the way that I may want it, but the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
So it'll be much more meaningful when I do reach that thing.
Yes.
So
I agree with you 100%.
And the other realization, you may not be on Radio City one day. You may have something similar to that. Or you may not even have anything similar to that, but everything you have done so far has been meaningful. And that's what it's about.
So it's always the purpose.
Keeping myself in check.
Yes.
And having, not a lot of people are honest with themselves, right? Like a lot of people,
they lie to themselves.
Right. They think, no, it's fine to dream big.
Yes.
But dream realistic.
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself because you didn't go to Radio City, but lift yourself up for everything that you have done in the middle. I love this quote that this guy said, we know when we're born, and then we're going to know when we're dead. What are you doing in that middle dash, in between? That's right. What counts.
That's right.
And then going back to your writing, when you says, I don't want my students to be good, I want them to be great.
Right.
As a spiritual teacher, I asked you, what makes you think of, and automatically you threw it back to me, right? Mm-hmm. I'm throwing it back to you. This resembles everything that you explained today, as a teacher, as a human being, as a mother. You just don't want your students, or you want anyone that you encounter who you're helping with to be great. Yes. You don't want them to be good. You want them to be great.
Yes.
And it shows with your work, with your kids. It shows in your friendship with the people. It shows in your work as a director. Like, your intentions is not to bring anyone down. Your intentions is not to feel like you're better than anyone. Your intentions is, okay, this is the job you're giving me. I'm going to make sure you're going to get to that level. And I think that's that's a very important characteristic that as a director and a human being should have. Whoever you're working with, if you're going to be a mother, be the greatest mother you can be. If you're going to be a friend, be the greatest friend that you can be. And whatever that means into you, but make sure you give that greatness into that. And as a director, you do that.
And it's, you know, it's like I tell my children, I said, you have 3 choices. I will talk to you, I will ground you, or I will fuck you up.
That sounds very similar to how you direct.
Right, right. So you pick the 3 ones that is going to be convenient for you to learn and grow. That is your choice. You know what I'm saying? So the choice that you make, you're telling me that out of those 3, whatever 3 you choose, that you're going to learn by it. And if you chose number 1 and you're not learning by it, and then you choose number 2 and you're not learning by it, then you have no choice for number 3, because I'm going to fuck you up. Because I am tough, and you guys know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that if I'm going to do a good job for my kids and to my students, I want it to become great for you guys. Because I know that every human being has potential. I don't care if they have learning disabilities, okay? Every human being has potential. And for the world not to acknowledge it, because they don't, because we lined up with you're smart, you're stupid, you're dumb, okay, you have a learning disability. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in that crap. I believe that we all learn differently, but we can learn. And when people think that they're not worth anything because the world tells you you're not, it irks me. Mm-hmm. Because if I say to everyone, you are all geniuses, you are geniuses. But when you do not accept it and you allow society to tell you that you're not, that is the most saddest thing in my heart. It really, really is. Because I don't get paid for being a spiritual teacher. I don't charge. So what I do it because I believe in it. And I believe what I'm taught as being spiritual, as a teacher by the spirits. And I go by it. Every human being has something to offer. It doesn't matter if it's small or big. But we don't wait for the world. We do what we have to do for ourselves. And when you do that, you're telling me that you mattered. And that says a lot to me.
And you don't charge as a director.
No, I don't.
So just give her a Pepsi and she's on the job. So it just calls Pepsi and food. That's it. That's it. And you have a whole feature film directed by Guru.
Damn.
So Pepsi and food.
Put a man in there.
Yeah, and a man. I said
kidding.
3 things and it's done. No, but Guru, that's the end of the podcast, and I just want to say, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, for sharing so much of your directing styles. I know you didn't share a lot of secrets, but you shared enough that you normally don't share, and I appreciate that. And thank you for everything you have done, as you already know, as a spiritual teacher. But I'm focusing on director-wise. Thank you have ever done directing-wise. You have taught me so much and so many elements about myself, and there's more to come. I'm still learning and growing. But, making, that was like the best decision that I made, was recognizing what you could bring to the table. Mind you, and when I had this, I didn't have any like what's that called, movies under my belt or whatever. I just was doing comedy or whatever, but I had faith in myself that I know I could write this. Absolutely. And I knew you was the person that, like Creed went to Rocky, like, you're the person that can take me to the next level. Right. And this is what I have. And you took that chance, even though you saw it, but at the end of the day, you took that chance. And the rest was history. We created shows together. And I always say you're my partner for life. When I create stuff, we earned our unity of how we worked, because it didn't start off all flowers. It was,
Right.
but there was moments that just in any creation
Yes,
you
you
make,
made,
you're gonna
yeah.
have back and forth, not arguments, discussions of like, well, I don't think this is how it's gonna go. And you're like, yeah, even though you're right, I'm
Right.
like, well, I don't know, but this is how I feel.
Right.
And that's healthy.
Yes.
That's very healthy
I agree.
in
I
the
agree.
creating process.
I agree.
You don't want someone that's a yes man to every single thing you do.
Exactly.
So, and I
Because
think
you're not learning.
right.
You're not learning.
Right. And man, you just brought so much to my shows. And like my shows would have been totally different. I always said my shows would have would I be confident would have been good? Yeah, they still would have been good because I'm bringing myself.
Right.
But they wouldn't have been great. Mm-hmm. And you brought the greatness of who you are as a director into this, and then you brought the greatness out of me, and still more to come. And I want to say thank you for making the sacrifices. Thank you for constantly, working with me, working together, and giving me notes and all that stuff. I appreciate that unity when we work together. That's something that I cherish a lot because it's hard to have when you work with someone, right? Like now, I just built that now with my wife when we work. I was like, wow, we're very similar. Now we built that, and I'm like, wow, I appreciate having someone, that's on my side as well, and I learn a lot about myself.
Right.
I think it's I'm going on, but I think there was something that you taught me in the second show where I had to let go of a lot of things. He's like, you just need to be the actor. Let me handle everything else. Don't worry if they're folding up the shirts. Don't worry about that. Because I want everything to be fine. And I think that was another thing I had to learn was to let go of that and let you do that because you made me realize that's going to affect your performance. Yeah. You don't think it is, but you have to be focused here. You got to be up here good. Thank you for checking out the episode. Please help us out by subscribing to our podcast, writing a review, sharing with a friend, or leaving a comment. Thank you. This will help us so much.